Hi, welcome everyone. It's Andrew Dailey of MGI Research, and welcome to this session, which is Convert Your Real Users Sooner. In addition to the Monetize Forum's focus on frictionless monetization, we always look for interesting companies to bring to the event, companies that may have created something with very broad appeal to our audience and even beyond. And to make it into the conference through that filter, the companies really need to solve a real world problem that, as I mentioned, has broad appeal, that affects a lot of companies and a lot of consumers. And it has to make the world a more interesting, more frictionless kind of place and conceptually change an old established process. We also like to find companies with an interesting backstory because we think ultimately they end up being some of the long-term winners as well. So join me in welcoming to the Monetize Forum our next guest speaker, Matt McLean, who's the CTO and co-founder of Bread and Butter. Matt is on his third company, having been a key member of two previous software firms, both that delivered really interesting innovation and both that resulted in very successful financial exits. His new venture, Bread and Butter, is a bit of a departure from the last one, as Bread and Butter automates a necessity that every one of us deals with on a daily basis. So with that as a background, Matt, welcome to the Monetize Forum.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm happy to be here.
So let's start with, what is Bread and Butter?
Well, at its core, Bread and Butter is a set of tools that we've designed to help internet executives really focus on their most important asset, and that's their online users. And we do this by helping them make sense of what we call their user journey. And along their user journey, really tracking what they do, how they're interacting with your website and app, and this is from your user's first anonymous visit to your site, on all their different devices, all the way to when they become a known verified user and what we call sales ready. And then for really as long as they interact with your website after that, we continue kind of recording this information. And within this user journey, really the most important goal is for you to find out who your user is, right? Getting to know, getting them to that known, verified, sales ready state as quickly as you can. And really the goal is to do this before they have a chance to, have second thoughts, get distracted, ultimately leave your website. For example, Andrew, think of how many times you've been to a website, you've hit the point of registration, and then you decided it wasn't worth the effort at the time, or maybe you're in the middle of a purchase with a half-filled cart, and you get distracted and you leave it. It probably happens a lot, right?
That happens all the time. And then I may or may not come back, and presumably the sites have no idea, because I haven't registered with them. They have no idea who I am and no ability to reach back out to me to re-engage personally. Yeah, all the
Absolutely.
time.
Exactly, right? And on top of that, when you leave, potentially you're missing out on valuable information.
Right.
Like, you came there for a reason. Or maybe you're missing out on that purchase that you wanted, but maybe it wasn't a priority at that time. And really, when it came down to it, you were distracted, and maybe it was more complex. Maybe it was you didn't want to create another login. You didn't want to create a complex password that you're probably going to forget at some point and need to go through that reset process over and over and over. We all have our own priorities, and sometimes it just ends up not being worth your time. And ultimately, the website you've just abandoned that has just lost you as a lead, like you alluded to.
Right.
And really, how expensive was it for that user to get you to their website? Were they using Google AdWords or some kind of marketing material? And basically, they've just thrown that away. And so really, that became our primary focus, right? How can we help you convert your users sooner? How can we remove the friction in this process? And how can we help you not have users leaving your website without you being able to follow up with them? And the way that we find that we've solved this problem is first off by allowing your users to authenticate with the established channels that they're comfortable with, or they're familiar with. You know, instead of requiring a lengthy sign up, just allowing your users to authenticate with Facebook or Google or even Okta, if you're, for corporate users, really removes the decision point on for your users deciding, okay, should I do this or not? Is this worth creating another account? Secondly, it's making sure that this is in front of your user as early as possible within this user journey, and making sure that process is simple, right? It should almost be a reflex. Like we like to say, one click and you're in. And then lastly, we've put a lot into helping you build out a reward system to really make your users want to convert sooner. So before they get that white paper, or even before they use your contact us form, quickly let us know who you are first, or not requiring your users to wait until checkout to apply that coupon, right? Apply it right now by performing a one-click sign up, and while you're still shopping, to keep them engaged, like to show them, have this interaction live, and you're actually getting this information up front as well. So, and once we kind of have that process in place, once we really know your user, on top of that, we're able to help you build a profile and on how your users have interacted with your website, and using that information, we help you really personalize your visitor experience, and kind of personalize how you end up marketing to those users, further in their user journey.
Right. So what's the backstory to Bread and Butter? How did you come about trying to solve this problem?
Right. Well, our team has been together for most of us for almost 20 years, actually. Bread and Butter is our third internet venture. And really, we created this out of necessity. For as long as we can remember, our team has always excelled in solving technology problems. And really, it was figuring out the marketing side of the problem. Who do we sell to? What price do we sell it at? And really kind of determining, which customers to target focus our efforts on. It really became the difficult part of our business. And so in our last venture, Delivery Slip, it was a secure email product, and it was actually acquired by our main competitor, publicly traded company Zix Corp. And while we were developing Delivery Slip and even our previous products, as we were trying to kind of solve this problem, we ended up reviewing a number of different products to try to help us, figure out what's our customer acquisition cost, what's our average revenue per customer, and what's the longevity of our most valuable customers. And when we're looking at all these different tools, we probably, over the years, I've looked through 24, different complex tools to solve these problems. They're all very feature rich. There's a lot of great tools out there, but that kind of always came at a price. And of course, a licensing price, but more importantly, and often it's more hidden, is the implementation and learning curve was, of learning all these different products, was really prohibitive for a smaller company. And so, we didn't have time to become experts in everything. And, we often see the only way to address that problem is to kind of, maybe we only target a few of these different products to kind of really focus on an angle of this problem. Or, maybe we create disjointed custom solutions that kind of get us to a good enough place so we can kind of get started. And, we found this to be common, and really that's where it was born, the idea for us to create a cloud product that really would overlap maybe half a dozen of these different products, and really focus on providing 30% of the high value features, and doing that at 30% of the price, and importantly 30% of the implementation time. As an internet executive myself, I know we all, at the end of the day, end up having the same goal, where we want to increase our average revenue per user, our ARPU, and we want to decrease our customer acquisition cost, our CAC. And while we don't have the magic formula for this, we really built bread and butter to help you convert your users sooner, give you more visibility into that data, and then allow you, once you have that data, to take action on what you've targeted as your high value users. And again, we're trying to do this in a way that is not breaking the bank, and really focusing on making it simple, so your team's not spending months configuring an excess of different third-party products, all to help you achieve this, right? It's we joke about how we don't want our customers to have to feel like they need a PhD in bread and butter to really understand how to use the product effectively.
Right. So who, if I don't need a PhD to use the product, who is the typical customer?
Typical customer for us really is digital agencies, ISVs, system integrators, but really anybody with a website or app can really make use of our product. But we decided to focus on what I call the one-to-many applications. Really, it's more profitable for us to target a digital agency that has hundreds of potential bread and butter customers, rather than targeting each company only individually. And this kind of helps us offer a really rich feature set at a lower price point. And for this reason, we made our analytics dashboard really sticky for the digital agencies and ISVs, and really tried to make it simple to customize and to segment your users and summarize your data, individually for all your different customers that you have. And really having this all in one easy to use dashboard, our goal is to really kind of take care of what we find is overlooked, and really help you focus on your bread and butter.
Got it. Yeah, that makes sense. So what's in terms of just the most common use cases, is it e-commerce, is it B2C, B2B? How would you?
Yeah, you nailed it. I think that in general, one of the biggest impact use cases for us is e-commerce. We've created one-click plugins for WordPress, WooCommerce, Shopify, and basically the goal is to really simply, without having to go through a big process, is to help these executives get more visibility into the life cycle of their online customer. Like, again, this is what we're calling the user journey. And like we talked before, within e-commerce, why wait for your formal cart checkout to know who that user is, right? Our tools help you focus on converting your users sooner within that process. And we want to again avoid that. Okay, now I'm ready to let you know who I am, to really find out who they are.
Right. And I think even in the B2B context, all the data shows that we have and that others have is that even in a B2B context, people are doing all the information gathering online.
Mm-hmm.
They may or may not be registered with your site, but they're collecting that data. So they're engaged in an evaluation process. But if they haven't registered, you don't know that, and you don't know who they are. And your account execs or your channel partners, whomever it is, doesn't know who to reach out to.
Yeah.
Right. So I can see it in both the B2C and even the B2B.
Yeah, and basically now that you're basically just crossing your fingers and hoping that they're going to re-engage, right? You're leaving it up to the user, right? So
where you guys have obviously thought about this a lot. Is there a point where you say, we don't want to become a marketing platform, we don't want to get into the commerce space directly? Like, where does bread and butter stop and the full bakery or something else start?
I'm sure there's a bread or butter pun ready. That's but yeah, I think our focus is always on your online user journey for your users. And while we help you track that user journey, we are not a CRM. And so, you know, for example, we integrate with most popular CRM, Salesforce, Marketo, and really, you know, instead of being a CRM, our goal is to pass really more reliable user information to that CRM. This is, again, our sales ready user. And, you know, when I say reliable, I say reliable because, you know, we're helping you allow your users to sign in with the credentials that they already trust. And, you know, by using those channels, you know, you're also creating user data that you can put more trust into. So, you know, there's a lot of, you know, you're not just allowing them to just enter an email and you're kind of hoping that they are who they say they are. They're going through a channel that they've invested in with you know, some of the big tech to kind of get you to that point, right? And for example, you know, if, you know, using the big tech for B2C, as you've been talking about, you know, using Google and Facebook in that sense, and for more, you know, secure enterprise solutions like Okta or Office 365 when you're dealing with those B2B applications, and kind of allowing your user to sign up and log in with who they trust, you know, rather than, you know, creating a new account, yet another password to manage, and you know, whatever other kind of friction or barriers you want to put into that process. You know, by removing those, it really helps both parties, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It creates more credibility in your own brand when your prospects and customers have more trust
Absolutely.
in everything that you do. Absolutely. So what should everyone remember about Bread and Butter other than the great name?
Yeah. Well, again, you know, our product's based on 20 years of experience, kind of in this space. And I think one of the important things is that we built this product in a way that doesn't require you to replace what you're already using, right? And that might sound simple, but you know, it was very difficult to achieve, right? We like to say we built our system to be non-egocentric in its implementation, right? It was important to us that Bread and Butter played nice with others. And you know, under that mantra, we integrate with Google Analytics. We allow you to export these sales ready profiles to MailChimp or Marketo. And really, it's just our goal is not to replace the tools that are important to you, right? We want to build a solution that works on top of what your existing system, and again, plays nice with the tools that you've already invested in. So, you know, and on top of that, with Bread and Butter, implementation is really simple. And honestly, you can be up and running within the same day and not have any major changes within kind of how your product is working today. And, you know, we feel like the benefits from our products pay for themselves immediately. You know, by handling the process of knowing your users and getting your users into the system. Again, I've been saying it a lot, but really kind of helps you and gives you the ability to focus on your bread and butter.
Yeah, that's right. And it's exactly that non-egocentric. I like that term. Non-egocentric point of view is exactly what I talked about in the opening keynote as well. So it fits obviously with our worldview. Matt, we are out of time, but I want to thank you for your time. Thank everyone out there listening for your time. You're going to be around, I guess, at the Bread and Butter booth.
Absolutely.
So if anybody wants to reach out, I would encourage everyone to do so. And with that, thank you very much.
Thank you.